Okay, we're going to start the Lunenburg Water Commissioners meeting of October.
Congratulations to the flag.
Can I do my opening statement?
No, the first thing you do is a pledge allegiance to the flag.
Of October 25th, it's 4 p.m., and we will start by saying the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag.
Thank goodness you reminded.
Pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'll say you were right, Mr. Wood.
Thank you, Mr. Esposito.
All right.
Thank you for reminding me. You know, very fatherly.
I don't think you would have forgot anyhow. Being a patriot you are.
That's right. All right, first thing we're going to do is approve the minutes of September 27th. See those for now? I have those right here. Give me a second. Esposito reviews that. The next thing we'll do is review and sign warrants, which I believe are done.
Just give me 1 minute.
You take all the time you need. Pledge of Allegiance is over, or cruise control now.
Okay.
Chris, do they actually have this too?
Who?
The time bond? Do they have copies of this? The time bond amendment?
Them?
Yes.
I just did the last page with the dollar amount. I can make copies of those if you'd like.
Yeah, go look them up real quick. That way they can have it. They can. That's the water line then. He was supposed to be on the agenda for today, but we moved it.
I saw the note there, yeah.
Has anything, never mind, I'll get to that later.
Things that bug me. See the nut? That was the same nut on this side. These nuts that bottom all out there, brass to brass.
Is that like a got a ferrule in there, like a compression fitting, or?
Yes, this one's got a stainless steel sleeve. This one, you lock the nut on the end.
Yeah.
So two totally different rubbers, methods. So I don't know how the rubber of this made that seal.
Yeah.
Because that's a whole different thing.
Correct. Where is this?
HV.
That's the next meeting.
Okay, yeah.
All right, I'm gonna make a motion, we accept the minutes of September 27th.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, number 3, we have a review and vote to approve time bond amendment number 1 for Hickory Hills Wells pilot study. Want to chime in on this one, Fran?
Yeah, so we were given originally a budget proposal. In this case, the price has increased $22,000, and it's tied to the notice of intent, all the Conservation Commission stuff. The original plan, which every town needs DEP, said typically they go in, they notify conservation, you don't need to do any conservation permits, we're all exempt from all that. Lunenburg, they had to go through the notice of intent, which was not part of this project.
Correct.
So we have extra fees tied to it. So they did the submittal of the maintenance notification letter, and then they did attend one meeting with the Conservation Commission to go through
Yep.
where the wetlands were, and then they, all that was to create the notice of intent. Then they submitted the application, and then they were on for 2 public hearings, June 7th to June 21st, and then also. Then they went and visited the wetlands and did another wetlands delineation with the conservation to oversee it all as part of their notice of intent. And then the appeal was immediately submitted. So then they had to work on that part. So they assisted the water district through the appeal process, which included one site meeting August 10th. And engineers are not cheap. All that extra, I've been wasting time. Costs us a lot of money. So.
Yeah.
So anyways, that's the main focus of this was the change, was that, and then the rest of it is the final phases of the pilot test,
Correct, which are,
which was modifications too, because we originally were gonna just do a pilot test. And now we shortened the term, and they did the bench scale testing, so that means the water's gonna be sent out to a lab.
Correct.
To have them determine the treatment method, and we're gonna do that in conjunction with the pilot test to hopefully downsize the time to do the test. So yeah, so they do it, two types of media.
yeah, I mean,
Some meters work better with others. That one has the iron and manganese issue. So that one, the biological is typically better. I questioned them all on this when they were out there. They said the biological is the best for the
right,
PFAS removal. If we were just doing iron and manganese, it'd be a green sand.
correct. So basically, the changes are the 22,000 for the additional hearings and work involved in that.
Yep.
And there's some slight changes too, just because of those, the different ways we're gonna do it.
Right, so on the positive side is the bench scale testing is gonna reduce the time needed for the pilot test.
Yep.
So we're gonna decrease money on that side, but we added it in a different way.
I mean, yeah, I mean, it's, I guess it's just the nature of the business, but it's obviously, unfortunately, that it's gonna get pushed off, I mean, pushed onto the, you know, the district and the water users that we have. But at this point, I mean,
I think it's done.
it's done, and, so are you looking for a motion to approve this so you can sign it?
Approve the amendment, yes.
Okay. Do you have any input on this, Mr. Esposito?
Is there a number or anything attached to that?
Basically, it's the 22, it's on the last page, or second to last page right here. There's an additional fee of 22,000 on, page before, John.
To approve Fran to sign amendment number 1.
Okay, all right, I make a motion that Fran signs amendment number 1 for 20, what's it, 22,000?
276,000 for the whole, that's the
Oh,
whole.
you're gonna do the whole thing?
Which
Yeah.
includes the amendment.
Okay, 76,000.
I second the motion. Approved.
All in favor, I guess.
I guess all in favor, there's only two of
That's
us.
me. Yeah, that's,
Yeah, that's gonna hurt.
I don't like that.
All right, number 4, review the Blue Leaf proposal for the pilot study at Hickory Hills Well.
So Blue Leaf is the one actually conducting the pilot test.
Correct.
Okay, so Time Bond set the whole thing up with Blue Leaf.
Understood.
So Blue Leaf is the one doing it, so we just want to approve the fee for that. It was all budgeted, approved.
I apologize, I didn't make copies.
That's okay. I mean, this is, I think I've
It's-
seen this before. This was part of our test. I mean, I understand it.
That was
This is
all
the
the
people that were
original
going-
stuff, but
yeah.
this is Blue Leaf's very specific,
Correct.
exactly what they're gonna be testing for, exactly how many tests they're gonna do,
Yeah,
the
so-
detail of it.
So right now, we met them down there.
Yep.
Right now, they're designing the test, they're gonna build it. There was a test in Shrewsbury going on, they're gonna take that and redesign it and put it in the pump station.
Right. And it's just as on par as we've discussed before. They will monitor, you know, and switch things up as needed to fine tune this thing in to the best,
Correct.
the most efficient way we can do this.
That is correct.
Okay.
And then, so they're gonna go through the process, they're gonna see the breakthroughs, they're gonna watch it go through the filter media. So they can see it at 25, 50.
Correct.
And so they're gonna watch it. So the longer it takes to get through it, the better it is for us. The downside is that the pilot test will go longer.
Right.
They wanna see that fail rate.
Correct.
So if we fail quickly, pilot test will be done quickly,
Sure.
but that's not good. That means we need bigger stuff.
Right. Do we have a rough date? Do we think they'll be in there or?
He said the first week of November, he plans to get everything ready to start.
Okay.
Put in.
Does that include the tank outside?
He said he can get tank next day. He said there's no weight on the tank. Tank's ready
Okay.
to go. He just doesn't want it delivered till we need it.
Sure. Okay. Any other further discussion? I'm gonna need to approve anything on that, correct?
No, just approve me to sign it.
I can't make a motion.
Need a motion for that? All right.
Motion to approve, contract.
All right, make a motion, we approve the Blue Leaf contract and for Fran to sign it.
Yep, you should read the number off too.
I don't have,
Oh, yeah.
It should be like the last page is.
you guys got a lot of technical stuff tonight.
Hold on, that's not the last page.
No, that's not the last page. Yeah, I didn't get that.
Is it at the bottom of their spreadsheet?
I don't think so.
242.
Oh,
242,000
Yeah, even, yeah.
even. Yeah, 242,000.
I approve, or I second the motion to approve the Blue Leaf proposal,
All those in
pilot
favor?
study for $240,000.
Aye,
Perfect.
Aye. Boy,
we're making
the
it
lost
easy.
spell mark.
It's only money.
It's heavy technical meeting night.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
All right.
nobody's
You're doing
giving us,
okay. You're
nobody's
doing okay
giving
so
us the
far.
numbers.
I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay.
Busy digging today.
It's not that critical.
It kind of is, actually.
It's only 242,000.
I pretty like to be pretty squared off on these things. All right. Fifth thing, review and vote to approve time bond proposal for engineering services for PFAS pilot study of the Keening well, the public education and master plan approved by the ARPA funding.
Okay, do they have that one?
Nope. It's everything's the same.
Correct.
That's why I
We've been
didn't, I
talking-
demand print all of that because everything is the same.
Right.
All right, so
It's-
everything went
it's-
through.
We went through this 2
Yes,
weeks or
it basically
4 weeks
was,
ago.
it's everything that we put together, you guys have seen the proposal many a
Absolutely.
times, it's everything we presented to the selectmen.
Yep.
That then approved the $285,000.
Yep.
To do exactly what you said. So basically, it's just them having us sign to say, all right, we got the funding, I talked to Heather.
Yep.
She said it's a little bit different where we're not town affiliated. She wants us to sign the contract with Ty and Bond.
Okay.
Blue Leaf is gonna do the pilot study under Ty and Bond.
Correct.
Everything's gonna go through Ty and Bond. They will then send me the invoices. I will then send them to Heather, and she will pay Ty and Bond direct.
Okay. I would like to see the numbers on that. Do we have
It's the same as what we talked about, 200,000 for it's the same numbers we've always had.
Yeah.
The 200,000 for the pilot study.
Correct.
35,000 for the master plan.
Wasn't the education?
Oh, sorry, education, and 50,000 for the master plan.
Now, when is that money's already approved?
Yes.
They voted
that's-
it in, yep, the
yeah.
selectmen voted it in.
Okay.
So I spoke to Heather, she said,
Can you go through those numbers again,
sorry,
please?
200,000 for the
pilot.
Keating's pilot.
Yep.
35,000
For public
for
education.
the public education,
Yep.
50,000 for the master plan.
Correct.
So we had a Zoom with Ty and Bond regarding this too. And then when we met with Blue Leaf down at Hickory Hills, we mentioned Keatings to them. They said they're on board, get stuff together. Ty and Bond said that they are working on finding outsourced public
Oh, public
education,
Yeah.
someone, like a public relations person to help with that public piece. Because we've already met with Jeffries, you know what I mean, we've
Yeah, oh,
got
yeah.
kind of the game plan. So this basically is everything that we've talked about, it's already approved, it's just us saying, all right, yep, Ty and
Sure.
Bond's gonna do it.
Do we, so with that ARPA funding, there is a timeline on that.
Yeah.
And I believe it's July 25 or something like that, that you don't have to spend the money, but you at least have to say that this money we need to have like bills in place, like this will
Yeah.
be.
Yeah, so that's why we wanna get going. We kinda have the timeline in there was, I think we had talked about the public education piece early, 24,
Okay.
pilot study.
Yes,
They
and we were talking about fairly early.
Early, yes, letting the holidays kind of go through early,
Okay.
getting a few pieces out to the public first.
Okay.
Then eventually doing a big presentation for everybody. The master plan, they're just gonna continue to work on in-house, assuming with Fran, getting a game plan, and then the pilot study, they're putting it together, and they'll just
Yeah.
start to talk with Blue Leaf and,
We want that pilot test going quickly.
yes.
absolutely.
We'd like it,
Right.
Supposedly the
Conjunction.
regulations are coming out at the end of the year. And
Yes.
then you have 1 year to
Oh,
to have things corrected, or you take the stuff offline.
Correct.
So we don't have a lot of time here, so we wanna do that pilot test immediately.
Okay.
yep,
And then on that one has the hard water.
Yeah.
So that one's gonna be a softener,
Correct.
which makes things difficult. So when you have softener, if there was sewer out in the street, you could just discharge the backwash
Okay.
to the sewer. So in this case, it's a salt brine. And then it comes to what are you gonna do with it? So he said a lot of towns will put it into a tank,
Right.
dry it out, and then they usually give it to the DPW.
I was about to say, yeah, yeah.
So it
it's all-
could be good for, I was gonna go talk to Bill and see
Yeah.
something we just deliver to him and mix it with the.
Well, because that's what they do, is they'll take that brine and they'll mix it with the salt, and that's what the liquid, and the state's big on that, they wanna use that, cause you can use less salt and,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
yep.
But I know, yeah, that's interesting. Of course, that stuff is super corrosive, so I don't know. I'm sure that'll,
Well, it'll be in a cement.
Correct.
We'll just take the water out and just leave that.
do you have any idea how much it generates?
He said something, he gave us numbers,
You're gonna
it's
have
a
to
lot,
backwash every 3 to 5 days.
Okay.
but it was a lot, wasn't it?
I don't think it was huge.
Wasn't,
Wasn't huge volume.
Yeah.
Well, once you dry it out, it's not.
Right, but I mean, like, I'm assuming it's gonna go into some sort of tank and then,
Yeah, we don't really. know.
yeah, I mean, it's.
so they're working on it,
Yeah.
like when we met with Blue Leaf.
Right, no, I mean, I understand we're
They're
not the first ones to do this, I'm just,
Yeah.
curiosity has me, that's all.
But we did tell them that everything's ready to go, so I
Right.
think that's why Time Bond just needed this, so that they could
Yes, no, we
push
had
this
talked,
through to
right.
get this going as soon
Okay.
as possible.
Well, I can't make a motion, but we'll,
That's just for.
just. do
Yeah, cause I don't
what we
think
do.
we've already,
Right, we don't need a motion for that, that's.
No, there's no contract, it's just for you to be aware
Correct.
that this is the number and it's moving
Right.
Yep,
ahead.
yep.
So that's it.
Okay.
When the contract gets here, then you.
Then we
you
can
do
sit
the
there and
motion.
go through the numbers,
that
which
was
I
the
like.
one that you needed to sign on the last page, far right. The last page, I wasn't sure if it had it.
Yeah, I'm just reading the.
Oh, sorry.
first part. No, sorry, this is the
Yeah, I
actual
think it
agreement.
is.
So I,
So we do need
until
a
I wasn't
motion.
here today.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's just, now that we have, this is just us officially hiring them now that we have the money from ARPA.
Yes, this is, yes.
So if you go to last
Yes,
page with the money,
this is-
then you see the exact stuff
Yes.
that we.
Yes, oh, this is wonderful. Now I feel a lot better about
Sorry.
this.
It was a busy day today.
Yes. Yeah, basically, the breakdown is 25 PFAS public education, 10,000 of public relations firm allowance, water district PFAS master plan is the 50,000s, and the Keating's well testing, pilot testing is the 200.
Yep.
So, yes,
This one's a little easier because
this is what, yeah, this is all,
Well, I haven't seen these before, so I don't,
It's the same ones we've been talking about with
Yeah.
all the
I
PFAS
just haven't seen the
so we're
document.
just gonna make a motion for the 285 to spend.
for Fran to sign.
All right, but Ty and Bond, the
It's
motion
right here,
is,
the proposal.
yep. All right, the master plan, the proposal for the master plan for Ty and Bond is gonna be $285,000.
I second the motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
It's just like that, it's only money.
Well, this one here is, this is a very good use of the state ARPA money,
Yes.
which is exactly as that thing is spelled out, is for
There
stuff
couldn't be
like
any,
this,
there couldn't be any
infrastructure.
reason better for what,
Yeah,
than what we're using it
appreciate
for.
the selectmen considering us and letting us, get into that money, and hopefully we can,
So in 20 minutes, you spent $549,000. You're doing well.
That's- Town meeting, they spend millions in 15 minutes.
really. Okay. Commissioner, Superintendent, Clerk, Treasurer additions.
You got any? Cause I just
Yes.
got one, go ahead.
Fuss and O'Neill,
Yep,
the lead service line.
correct.
So we are still working on getting our residents to take pictures of their meters. So we have now sent out with the July and the October bills, inserts with the bills with a QR code for them to take pictures. We need to get a picture of all of the meters. So we had talked about this, I think, a couple
Yeah.
meetings ago. So they put together a postcard.
Okay,
Well, I know we had talked about that. There's copies in there if you want to see it. I mean, this is obviously the blown up one, but basically Lunenburg Water District has the QR code right on it, little explanation. Luckily, we came in, I don't know the exact amount, but he did say we came in under budget with the excavation part
Right.
of having to do all the test holes.
and these are for the ones that we were unsure of. Like, there was
Yes,
questions, we
that
didn't
just
tie
needed
cards or
to,
whatever.
yes, so we came in under budget with that, so we could actually use a little bit more of the funds to go towards
Right.
this, getting our residents to,
What's our percentages on this?
out
many-
of 2,500 last, I don't know how up to date it is online, but you can actually go to the Water District page, 350 out of 2,500 residents have taken pictures.
Well,
So, I don't know. I mean, I know we kept saying a lot of people throw away the inserts, so I was hoping, I know we talked about this, that maybe this would be that one postcard. You know, you have it in color. So it'll be around, he got a quote for 2,500. It would be around $2,300.
that's mailed out and everything.
Mailed, everything.
Okay.
Which we do have the funds for from the grant because we were under budget.
So this is, you're sending out 2,500 of these, is that what you were saying?
Well, it's because we don't have a way to sit there and say, because it even says on here, if you've previously completed this survey, no further action is
Well,
required.
I mean, how much of a pain is it to nix out the 300 people that have
Well, because I
done?
don't think they're gonna be, I didn't talk about the mailing, I don't know if they would be,
I mean, because we have a record of the 300 or so that have done it, correct?
We do
True.
a printout, we could just cross them off.
true.
I mean, so could we,
So, yeah, I can check with them,
I mean, there's no need to, I mean,
Yeah,
without, making too big of a deal
yeah.
with it, there's no need to send it to somebody that's already done it.
Yeah.
If it's
Yep.
not gonna cost 60 man-hours to do it, I'm
Yes,
okay with that.
yeah,
If it's
I'll
a
check with
simple,
them. I'll
hey,
check with them, but
here's a-
that's,
I mean, we must have a mailing list, right? Like our billing list.
yes,
And then-
which they have that whole list of all
I
2,500
mean, do you have to
actions.
manually go through every single one of those and cross it off, or?
I don't, that's what they do, so that's
Okay.
what I don't know what their extent
Okay,
would be.
all right, well, I guess-
If that's the case, then yeah, just mail it out to everybody. If it's as simple as them pulling a report that says exclude customers who've already done it, and they can print one report and say mail them to these people, then yeah, let's do it.
What's our deadline? Isn't it October of next year? does
Yes,
this have-
October 24,
Yeah, for
to have a
final
lead service
submittal
line,
to
yeah,
DEP.
yep,
So we have time.
yeah.
All right, we have time, but like, let's just face the facts that it's not going to, we're not gonna get everybody.
No,
And are we going door to door at the end?
I don't think it's that critical. It's,
I gotta ask him, because it sounds like you have to have, it's percentages, right? Didn't he
Right.
say,
yeah, so it's percentage. So we went and investigated all the water lines and we confirmed that they were copper on both sides, so that's street
right,
side.
right.
So all they're gonna do is take that information, say, hey, well, we're 90% sure that, well, we know for a fact that these are all copper,
Yeah.
no lead. So we're under the assumption that the other 10% is good, just to prove it to the
yeah.
state.
So I
think it's
don't
gonna be the
know
same
with the
houses.
customer side, I'm assuming we need to be at, I don't know what that percentage is, but 90, so that's kind of been my thinking a little bit too, is,
So, this is so that we can verify there's no lead service lines in Lunenburg, which,
in their houses is what this part is. We need a picture of their meter to
Okay.
show coming into your house.
but we know that no lead service line has been made since 1977, basically, or.
Well, I don't think it's been installed a water system.
I don't think we have any.
We
but-
don't.
We don't,
But-
yeah.
So when it comes to the proof of this, can you be like, there's not any in this house because this house was installed in 1996? Is that proof enough, or do you
Yes.
still need?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, so I think that could be another part of it too, that, because they worked with the town, the assessors, to get stuff like that, and that's kind of how they figured out their excavation. You know,
Oh, no, I
they
understand,
looked at
right,
the
yeah,
map, so,
yeah.
so I would hope that we'd be able to use that same
Same mentality.
mentality with this.
Well, so I'd love to ask that question, like,
Okay.
because this does need to have, we have a drop dead date on this, and this
Yeah.
has to be, like officially submitted. So, I mean, is it, like, I feel that there's definitely, since 1977, or, I mean, that's the, I know that's,
86 was it.
the 86 was the lead for that, like, I mean, you could knock off, I'm
Yeah.
assuming 300 to 400 houses in, you know, that have been built, like
Yep.
new construction houses in Lunenburg. I mean, I'm guessing it may even be more than that.
Yeah, I'll
You
talk
know.
to them about that, because I bet since doing the excavation part, they must have records of that,
Right.
neighborhoods, all the new neighborhoods.
Well,
that were
exactly. If
put
you look
in.
at, you know, like Cortland Circle,
Yeah.
stuff like that, that's 2007.
Yeah.
So what they
Okay.
went by is when the house was built.
Sure.
So they went by that.
Yeah.
For example, Hickory Hills.
Right.
They picked all of Hickory Hills.
Right.
And I'm like, well, we put the water line in 1993, so,
Right.
so I
Correct.
know for a fact that there's no lead.
So
So
I,
with
that's
that,
why
I
they
wonder
had
if
that
they
squashed
could
out.
sit there and use that, like, I get it, that same
so I guess
mentality.
before we start, so like I see this as $2,500. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm one of these people that probably hasn't done this yet. Okay.
You don't know if you haven't taken a picture of your meter yet?
So
I get it.
I took a
I'm
picture.
just-
I just don't think I sent it to you or filled the thing out. So you know, I'm a bad customer. You know what I'm tell you? But I think I'm an average person, and I
Yeah.
just try to think of like what is the best way. We need to get 100% compliance on this.
I know.
So before we start doing like this, which is a great idea, but if we can
Narrow it
we
down.
can narrow it down and be like,
Yeah.
we don't need to do to this, like we don't need to do it to Hickory Hills
Yeah.
because the water. There's no need to push anything past Townsend Harbor
Yeah.
Road. You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
Don't send it to there.
Yep.
And you know that could cut
that
the
could
list
cut our
in
bill in
half.
half,
And
yeah,
then,
from 20.
then we could
200.
really pound the people that
Yeah.
like me
Yep,
who are like, yo, you have an 1800s house. We need to
Yep.
verify this.
okay,
So I guess before we do this, I would just like
Alright.
to see if we can.
We can do that.
absolutely.
Yeah, because I mean, we squashed it all off on the, doing the.
The excavation,
Oh.
so that's what saved it. So yeah, all right,
Right.
that's a great idea,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so they sent the map of, this is where they want to test, and I'm like, well, I know all of this, I know all of this.
Sure.
Yeah,
And,
And, I mean, like, obviously-
Where can you go by what I saw?
Yeah.
You know,
and
Right,
yes,
because like
they
when,
said
in
you
the
could.
Whalum area,
Yeah, I
when they
saw
did
all
the
that.
sewer,
Yeah.
it was all open. I mean,
Yep.
whatever they need, like as far as the documentation to prove that this is done, let's just
Yeah.
make sure it's more than a handshake agreement, like just a specific, if you can give me if you can give a verbal, like I was there,
Yeah.
affidavit type of thing, if that's okay with them, great.
I think it is.
Yes, they did say that it was.
But obviously you guys could use like tie cards, et cetera,
Yes,
to-
that's even, yeah, that's
you know,
perfect.
that's like,
Yeah.
that's a documented item that this
Yep.
house is putting in.
And
so-
we have a lot of tie cards, even from the 1950s.
Right.
But it said, like, a lot of them on Pleasant Street. Well, on 1950 was
Yeah.
Pleasant Street. But it said so-and-so builder, because
Yeah.
it wasn't some homeowner didn't tie it in
Correct.
the water, it was a builder. And it just
With-
says Pleasant Street. Well, Which house? It doesn't say a house. Everything was by names back then.
Yeah.
No,
You know, so
Yeah.
you know, there was no address, it was
Right.
so-and-so's name, like, well, who is that? So
Yeah.
you're looking back, and
Right, so let's start there,
Okay.
narrow it down that way, and then come up with this list of we need some more type of confirmation, and I think we may have shrunk that down
Yeah.
enough, and it may actually behoove us at that point just to figure out if it's worth just going door to door with somebody, if it's
I
worth
think we
trying-
will at some point. I think I've been trying to
That's a
really
tough
get
one.
the,
I mean,
but I know.
I get
But
it.
I like narrowing it down, and I'll check with them on that, if that's something we can start with, and then,
But every one of these that we do is good, because it brings in the phone calls, hey, I can't do it, so we'll send people over to go do it for
Yeah.
us.
I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
perfect, I mean,
So
like I
it's-
said,
It's helping,
Yeah.
you know, but it's not like, you know, we have,
I always look at
I know.
like the district of, you know, like of Lunenburg in general, and the people, like there's just these brackets. You get like, you know, young couples with kids, you got the mid-aged kids, you got the empty nesters, and then you got the retirees, and
Yeah.
like they all are going to have a very specific, this range right here, like maybe this QR code's like, oh, I love playing on my phone, I can do that, like, you know what I'm saying? But I don't think you're gonna get the retirees, they're gonna be like,
we've had a lot of them call, those are the
How
ones
do you
that
know
are
what that
calling
is?
us, that I
Right.
have the flip phone, I don't have a camera, kind
Right,
of thing.
right,
So-
you know,
And
like-
we've been, and like he said, they've either come in and or they've had a picture but don't know how to do it, or we send the guys there. So
Right.
we've been accommodating for that,
Okay.
but, all right, we'll keep moving forward and I'll
yeah,
let you know.
Let's work with that.
Yeah. Did we want to talk Verkada?
If it, well, we don't know enough yet.
All right,
to-
wait on that one. The 360, I've had that sitting too.
Yeah, you can flip that one up.
360?
Yeah.
So, tie sales with the meters, you might need to jump in on this one, you're gonna know more than, a lot more than this.
Yeah, so our meter reading system, we read everything remote,
Correct.
drive by.
Yep.
There's a whole new program, the old one's being phased out. This is the new one, we talked about this
We've talked
a
about
year
this,
ago. This is a downscaled version of it, but it's just gonna load the guns and allow us to do more interactive things. Like if we wanted to check someone's meter, like we could go log it and put it in that computer so we could log, like every month we could actually go and read meters.
Okay.
And that thing and load it into that and just do it for not billing, but just comparison. Hey, what's going on? You know,
Right.
and then have it go say, hey, so and so has a leak.
Yep.
Sure.
You know, that kind
Catching
of
it
thing. So that,
along.
that thing is more up to date, more.
But you still have to drive around with a thing to read the meter. Like the truck still has to drive around to collect
Correct.
that data.
Yeah.
Which you guys can do cruising down the street
Oh yeah, in a
It takes
couple
me like
hours.
2 hours.
Yeah.
to do the whole
And
time.
I have antennas on all our towers.
Yeah.
So I probably could step that up and do even better. You know,
Okay.
let's just plug in the tower and read.
So I think they came and did a presentation with us.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's something that we should
Kinda
look.
have to do. Cause the old ones, they're phasing it
Yeah.
out, so it's at
And
some point.
The presentation that they did, like he said, I think it's gonna be a huge benefit to the district. I think it's
Oh,
tough
yeah.
right now because, you know, I've had even a couple customers right now. One woman filled her pool and didn't know it was leaking the whole time, and she got her October bill and was like, "Oh my god!"
Oh, yeah.
If we went and did mid,
Absolutely.
mid reads,
Or at least you just have
we
the
would've
read
sat
to be
there
out that
mid-
you can notify someone like, hey, your water bill.
But you
is-
print a report and you could say, show me the highs.
Right.
Tell me which one is like above normal, and I can sit there and they can call and say, hey, you got
You got something
going on.
Now,
instead of.
does this change anything? Like, do you have to go in their house to change anything, or is it just the
No,
same?
no, everything's the same.
Everything's
Yeah,
the same.
they won't know a thing.
Well, eventually, the newer meters that we get now, the 157 ones, those ones will be able to data log down to like.
The old meters read per cubic feet. The
Correct.
new ones read decimal. So
Yeah.
0.11, you know,
Sure, yeah.
2 to
Yeah.
3 decimal, depending on the size of the meter. So those are much more accurate. They'll pick up a continuous leak very quickly. And then the radio units, the new ones actually log that. So when we drive by and read it, we can log their meter.
Okay.
And see what's going on. The old meters, you could still get a continuous leak one because it's gonna see that, hey, it hasn't stopped in so many hours, but it's not gonna be an accurate.
Well,
It'll all still work, and as we replace or fix meters
As
that
you-
break,
right, every
or new
time,
ones
yeah,
are-
every time you update
everything's
it.
gonna get upgraded.
now,
But
I
as
know,
of-
like I believe in Fitchburg, they have like a centralized. It can read everything
Yes,
at once. Like.
That could be that.
yeah.
But where's the reader? Like, you know what I'm
It's
saying?
the same reader as what we have. They just have towers.
They don't have to drive around.
No, they have towers that read them all. And
Okay.
that was one of the big things with the 360 guy, was that Lunenburg could read a lot of Fitchburg meters, and Fitchburg could read a lot of Lunenburg's meters. So they all go to the cloud, so we could actually access all that.
So therefore, you wouldn't have to drive by anymore.
Correct.
Yeah, somebody could call me and say,
Oh,
oh my
it's-
God, I just realized my hose was on. I could sit at my desk and.
Correct. I believe it's valuable. Like, if apartment building in Fitchburg, and you can see like if that the toilet's running or something
Yeah.
like that rather than getting a bill
Yep.
in 3 months being like, oh my goodness, what
Yeah.
happened?
Yep.
But that's not that price. That's a different.
No, I
price.
understand, but this system
But this
would
is
be
something I think
capable
that we
in the
can-
future
And we could
Yes.
we could expand to it.
on
Okay.
You know, there's the initial setup fee that's $4,500, and then there's an annual fee, which is, they put in for customers, it's per customer, from 2,500 to 5,000 customer. The total price would be around $3,700 a year. So it's something that, once we get past that initial fee, like he said, everything's phasing out, unfortunately, everything's going
It's like the
to.
first year we do, it's like $8,000.
8,200 for the setup for everything. But I think, I don't know, the way we're
We
moving.
have time too, we
Yeah.
don't have to rush.
I'm not saying we have
could
to,
do this
yes.
as a line item on our annual meeting.
Guys are really pushing too much money on me today.
No, this wasn't a vote, or this wasn't anything. This is just something that we'd met with them. This is something that they're
Okay.
talking about
I
because
do, I mean, we
the
had
old
talked
stuff
to-
is phasing out.
Yeah.
This is coming in. This is just something that we probably need to do.
Do we,
continue.
do we have a timeline on this? Like, when will our old system phase out? Dude,
We had like a year,
Okay.
year or two, so no,
Yeah.
no critical thing, and then
Yeah.
even when it's phased out, you don't have any support, that's all.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we do call the guy usually 2-3 times a year to tweak stuff and
Sure.
Yeah.
stuff, so.
okay. Okay.
Just something to keep in mind.
And on another side thing, you could actually log, the customers could log in, see their meter readings and stuff.
Yeah.
They could see a lot of
Sure.
their information. so.
Yep.
So there's a whole flip side that's.
Yep.
No, I think the technology's fantastic.
Yeah. Just the,
$4,000.
Yeah.
But, okay.
yep.
You good?
And then up top, we've been doing the drain. We'll let them know. We've been doing the drain up top. That was the other thing. We want to finish up top
Okay.
to put the bins, the sand.
So our storage bins.
For our storage
materials.
bins.
Copy.
So we're gonna do 3 bins.
Yep.
And then we're gonna have an open area, so like when we have the main break, we
Yep,
wanna
we
dump
just
out
dump there.
spoils
Yep.
there, we can dump there. and-
So we've been working on that this week. The guys have been doing good.
Yeah,
We
so we-
actually just finished the drain today.
Yeah, we had the laser out there, which we bought to do this place, so it came in handy.
Yeah, yeah.
And, we had PJ doing the digging, so,
Oh,
so
good.
he can learn.
Good. Good spot for it.
He's very, he's nice, slow and steady, so he's gotta pick up his speed and then.
He's getting there though. It was just him and I today.
You didn't
So that's why I
you didn't put Jeff out
apologize.
there with them?
No,
No, I was there with him. He did good. Him and I worked. Unfortunately, a couple of the guys were at classes today
Yeah.
for our water licenses. So him and I finished a lot of it up, and he's getting there. But it's gonna look good. I think once that dries up
Oh,
a
that'll
little
be
bit,
huge.
the
I mean,
drain.
oh yeah,
Especially-
and it'd be nice, that way we don't
It's-
have equipment and stuff at the old garage. We
Right.
can
Yep.
have
Yeah.
everything.
Everything's here. So
All the rocks gone?
no.
Other
we're
than
still-
some big ones,
Yeah.
Okay.
that we really, I could probably pick them up though. We'll see.
Drag it. But it's gonna look good. We're gonna put regrinds up there. We already got some quotes for the concrete,
I like the blocks.
the
Yeah.
blocks, yep, to make the bins. So we'll,
Just curious, where'd you get those quotes?
Paquette?
Okay.
yeah, I had tried calling Powell's to see who they had used for their bins, and he recommended Paquette, and Terry was calling,
There's a place in New
Couple people.
Hampshire that has some that I've used several times. I'll get the
Alright.
number for you.
Yeah,
let me know.
I feel like their product, like I will say, like there's some you can get from Keating's that are very rough.
Yeah.
The stuff that up there, and I believe they'll deliver them too. I mean, there's a fee involved.
Oh,
I think,
yeah.
You know, like, but
Because we were gonna, first was borrow John's trailer, and then our air hoses are different, so then we're gonna borrow John's truck and trailer.
but we figured we needed, what, like 50 of them?
I think it's
Yeah.
50,
You only-
2 by 2 by 6,
Yeah,
so,
there's
you know,
only
that's
so
a
many
lot of
to haul.
trips.
That's a lot of weight.
Yes.
Um,
So.
I'll look into that number for
Yeah,
you.
look at-
Yeah, let me know.
Shoot me a text because I'll totally forget that.
Yep. That's all I got.
Okay.
Okay, so on my side, the only thing, on the bottom of the agenda, Mass Ave water main replacement, I wanna, if it's okay with you guys, I wanna throw something in the newspaper. Just so that people know that it's out to bid, it's ready to go, we're just waiting
Correct.
for spring, and then, the
Yeah.
thing's gonna kick off.
I think that'd be great.
Yeah,
I saw you guys going through that quote the other day in here.
oh, yeah.
You know, everything looks pretty
Yeah, yep.
standard on it. I mean,
Yeah, we still got that hanging out there is the engineering adjustment for the Mass DOT
yeah.
permit stuff. I spoke to him a little bit about it, and he doesn't really have any more information on it. And he says, well, you do realize that we spent a lot of time on that, and I agree. They did spend a lot more time than probably.
I'm not arguing that they spent time on it. I feel like that bill was a little
Extreme.
extreme.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that they shouldn't be compensated something, but I feel like they just threw a number out there and they're like, hey, this is extra. Like, ooh, hold on a minute.
So he didn't really push it, but
Yeah.
I told him, we haven't decided on it. He said, well, just, give
Yeah.
it some thought. So it's just letting you know it's still out there. Okay, so only other thing I got is, we do, DEP requires us to do testing, okay?
I saw it on the
Oh, you saw it. So we test all the sources, and we don't test Lancaster individual wells. We test the manifold, which is they all feed one water main, and that water main that goes feeds the system is what we test. So, that test, passed the PFAS levels for today, but they're not gonna pass for the future ones. So all that stuff we're doing for the Keating well is heading for Lancaster as quickly as
Sure.
possible.
I mean, I think we're all in the understanding here that
So-
in the near future, every well will have a treatment plant.
So it came through the current regulation, 6.7 for the PFAS levels, which now the regulation is 20 from Massachusetts and 70 for the federal. So I mean, I was making a point that a lot of stuff that people say is high contaminated
Right.
isn't when you look at the state federal level.
Right.
So, but anyway, but the new regulations go PFOA and PFOS. Okay, so the PFOS on that the Lancaster Ave wells was 2.39.
Yeah.
Which anything above 2, you should have some serious concern. And the PFOA, the PFOA,
Yeah.
was 4.31. So that exceeds the
The new,
new regulation.
because that's the new regulation. They're gonna start testing these individually, not just the whole bucket that
Yes,
they've normally
so,
done before.
yeah, right now they test 6, PFAS 6. They
Right.
test 6, add them up, there's your number. So
Right.
Lancaster came with a 6.7.
Has anybody still been talking about a class action suit against DuPont?
Oh yeah, we're
Oh.
in the middle of
Yeah.
it.
We're in it, okay.
Yeah, we just got an email that we need to pick a date, I think, next week to talk with that Barron and Bud, the lawyers
Attorneys,
about it, yeah. They have new information, I don't know what it is,
Okay,
so
yeah.
next meeting by then we should have talked to them and
Yeah,
we'll
so
have some
they
update.
went in to do, we submitted for every well, even well number 3 that's been offline for, since 1983.
Yeah.
So we put a pump in there, we pumped it, tested it, and if any of the wells exceed that 4, which obviously some do, because we're at 4.31 with them all mixed, they took all those samples, I'm not sure what the actual results were of those, so we individually took them. So he said, if they hit that 4, then we were entitled to much more money. So he said,
Oh.
you want it,
Yeah.
typically you want to see less than 4. But in this case, to get money, if we hit 4, we're better.
I don't know how DuPont is gonna survive this.
There's a whole bunch of them. It's not
Yeah,
just
it's not just that. It's-
Yeah,
it's-
but I mean, the whole, the whole world is on this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the downside is the replacement, the Generation X stuff
Yeah.
that's replacing the stuff is already monitored. So I think they're already looking for who knows what's.
Now they're talking about not drinking out of plastic cups,
Yeah.
all these
So
sport
that's
cups.
all I had.
All
So
right.
It's gonna be bad.
Public comment. So we have some customers here today.
Sure, you go ahead, and then I'll go with mine.
Okay. Bobby Turkington, 110 Royal Fern Drive. I would like to receive copies of several of the things that you discussed today, the tie and bond amendment on the Hickory Hills pilot, the Blue Leaf proposal, and the tie and bond PFAS study for the Keating well. Could I pick up a copy of those?
sure.
Is that something I could pick up today, or shall I come back to pick them up?
No, I should be able to make some copies. Well, nothing's signed, nothing's official.
Yeah, no, that's.
So if
that
you want to
okay?
wait until we have everything signed and official, I can,
No,
No, we're just interested in informational.
yeah. So we can
Okay.
just copy
Yep.
those. I mean, I put marks all over this one. We just gotta.
yeah, I'll get some clean copies. Yep.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, I have a comment as well. I'm John Fortune, 50 Hemlock Drive. I recently received the proposed district, I guess, for the Water Supply Protection District. I know you guys talked about this a couple of weeks ago, I think it was on your agenda, I assume you talked about it, I didn't look at your meeting. And it includes, or will include, a map. So I had a couple of questions on the map and some of the wording on this, and I wanted to talk to you guys, and I'm gonna talk to the planning board on Monday.
Okay.
But I wanted to bring it here as well.
Okay.
And I assume the map came from here, so if I could just show you that, if you don't mind.
Yep.
On this map, this was the July 2021 map. there are a couple of small circles, which I was just trying to figure out what those meant. I don't know.
Those were well sites that were found and protected with a 400-foot radius.
Oh, okay,
that
so
was
those
put
are
in-
their own, wells or whatever?
Yeah, we found sites on Lake Shirley, and
Well, Lake Shirley's here, but this is actually like.
Oh, Goodrich, oh, there was some on Lake Shirley too.
Yeah, there's definitely, so this is the old map. Right, you had.
Oh, yeah, Lake
some on
Shirley, okay.
Shirley, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why that
These
was.
were, and I didn't know if there were abnormal things that happened in this copy. I have no idea, that's why I'm asking. So this is probably Stillman's, and this is probably like Cherry Hill Farm. Right, where the ice cream is, Cherry Hill Ice Cream. And they may have a well, and maybe that's protected or not, I don't know, I just was curious more than anything.
Okay, yeah, so, yeah, these are not our maps.
Okay, it says Lunenburg Water District, I assumed it was yours, but maybe it's not.
Yeah, so I don't know where this map came from, but, so this is showing public water supplies. Yeah, so the ice cream.
Yeah.
But that's a public.
They have their
that's a
own public
private-
water supply. Okay.
I'm not sure what that one is.
Stillman's may as well for his,
They may.
area?
They may. Yeah, these were the wells on the, that
On
we
Lake
found on
Shirley.
Lake Shirley, yeah.
Yeah,
And there was one on
well,
Goodrich Street, and yeah, they were protected. So the town and the water district and actually one found Hickory Hill as well, put money together and to go and look for water sources in all of Lunenburg. And they were supposed to find the sources and buy the land. It went to town meeting, and they voted down the purchase of the land, so the way of protecting was to put a 400-foot radius around it.
So the sources were identified, but not necessarily purchased at the time.
They weren't purchased, but they were protected.
Yeah.
So you can't build on those
Okay.
properties.
Okay.
That's what those circles are.
right.
But the other ones must be just public water supplies.
All right, so that was one of my questions, thank you. In the new proposal in the water supply protection plan, and again, I realize this is from the town, but it affects water supply, so that's why I'm asking you guys. Zone 1 is not, there's no reference to Zone 1 in here at all. I don't know if you guys noticed that, picked up on that or whatever.
Yeah, because we own and control Zone 1, so the town doesn't need to put anything in the bylaws for that.
Okay, but Zone 2 and Zone 3 are all in there.
Zone 2 is, yes, because we don't own and control Zone 2. So the town needs to protect it through bylaws.
Oh, it's same as Zone 3, so that's what.
Yeah,
that's
Zone
what it is.
3.
Okay.
Yeah, originally, the Zone 3 is not required to be protected, but the town felt that they wanted to protect it, so we didn't have the issue with them protecting, because the old bylaws protected Zone 2 and 3.
Okay, so should the map that goes with the narrative include Zone 1 or not include Zone 1?
Zone 1 is the 400-foot radius. I mean, they'll have to show it on the map, but it's not something that needs to be
Part of the
put.
narrative?
Yeah, right, because we control it, so I mean, we can restrict everything on it if we want to.
Well, we can argue that too, because there's one area where you don't.
Yeah, you
but-
can't,
But
you
anyways.
can't argue it, but that's fine.
Okay, well, whatever, and we've obviously disagree with that. Okay, that's really what I was trying to do. I was trying to understand, kind of where that was and why that was, and
Yep.
you've just helped me.
And everything in that bylaw was the DEP's bylaw, and the town just took DEP's bylaw and put Lunenburg's name on it, so.
Every time those things get changed, it's the DEP pushes that down
Right.
to the town. We have,
Right.
they just notify us like notify.
Well, I know, and I know last year we went through the whole process
Yep.
again, and Zone 1 was in there, and,
Right.
we rejected it because of things that were on there last year.
Right, yeah, last year, the Zone 1, they took the old one and tried to modify the old one. And in
Right.
this case, they just tossed the old one and went with the new DEP one.
Yeah, okay.
So this all we submitted to DEP, and every time we submit something, they might switch one word just to make it a little clearer. Other than that, yep, fine. Yeah, they pass everything, because it's the.
Yeah, well,
they wrote it.
there's significant changes between the two, but whatever, I mean, I hear what you're saying, and that's fine, that's really what I was trying to understand. Okay,
So
Yeah, so
John,
there will be a new map,
and I think they're gonna, one of the things that was asked for is that it's included in the warrant, because it's not, in the current wording, there is no map with it, you had to go find the map separately, so.
okay,
So hopefully they include that in that, but I realize that's the town, not you guys.
right. Yeah, so the only thing this whole thing that started last year was because they stuck a little leg off down Kilbert Street and changed that map, so we needed that map approved, and that's what started all that other stuff too.
Oh, okay. Okay, oh, yeah, that's right. Okay, that's all I had, thank you.
All right. I'll accept the motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I second it. Meeting adjourned.
Meeting adjourned.